I am in the process of working on a advanced feature. Call it integration mode. It's what lets this be more like a Crestron or AMX touch panel and less like just a basic remote. It's called integration mode, and you can enable it. And once you're in it, there's going to be pages. Now, bearing in mind that at this point, this is beta. Not even beta, I guess more along the lines of alpha. So I'm still working on it, but I will include it in the app that you can buy from the store, and you guys can see it as it develops, provide feedback. I'm open to anything, just, tell me what you like, what you don't like, or suggestions of like features that you would like added, and I will work on it, and I will have a roadmap published soon, give you an idea of what I'm working on and what's coming up after that to get this up and running. But what is available right now is you can create pages. You want to go into Edit Custom Interface, and in here you can edit the pages that are selected. In this case, you can see that it brought up this image. This is just an image I got off of Google. Just searching random images. I just searched for buttons. Anyways, not my graphics or anything. I don't even know who made it, but that's beside the point. So the point is, you can do the selected pages settings. You can change the color of the background of the page by sliding the red, green, and blue sliders, hitting save, or browsing for a photo and boom, there's the button, and all of that shows up right here. In this particular case, the reason you might want to select a color for the background too is if you have any transparency in your image where the color can kind of ghost in from behind or underneath it. And then to switch between pages, let's say I want to do the main one now, and in this case it's different, but this is actually demonstrating that you can set yours up for landscape or portrait. In this particular case, you're going to want to pick one when you're designing your touch panel interface, because it doesn't always look the best between them, but there's no particular like rule that sets it in stone. I mean, you can have one page portrait, and if it feels better, go ahead, flip it over to landscape for other things, or redesign it as you see fit. But the idea behind this is these are pages where you can now put your controls in: volume bars, volume controls, the input selection, or let's say you want to do some real macros, and instead of doing instead of having to select between going over to the receiver tab, setting the input, setting the volume, and then going over to the Blu-ray player and doing all that, what if you had a system on button that says, I want to watch a movie? And that one, it turns on the TV, turns on the receiver, turns on the Blu-ray player, flips the TV to the input that the receiver is feeding it, flips the receiver over to the input that's the Blu-ray is being sent to on it, so that way you're completely all set up, ready to watch the Blu-ray player, and all you gotta do is pop the disc in the player or go into Netflix or YouTube and just go. And then when it does that, that on button then flips over to another page which has got the Blu-ray controls, and now you're all set to just be like play, pause, stop, rewind, fast forward, reverse track, forward track, and up, down, left, right, enter menu, and exit, return. Basic controls like your remote. But in doing so, now to get your system up and running, you only had to press one button, and then it's just there. I mean, you could even set it so that the volume of the receiver goes to a specific level. Like, this is full-on Crestron AMX level control. And speaking of which, I am a Crestron and AMX programmer by trade during the day, so this is what I do. And I know that this system will eventually rival a Crestron and AMX system. It will do exactly what I'm just talked about down the road. But if you want to bear with me and help support me, buy a copy of the app, 99 cents, and who knows, month, maybe 2, you might have that. And you can set the thing up to work. And I know that the devices are limited on here right now, but it is my goal that I will add a method for you guys to add your own custom devices. And it's going to be handled a lot like Extron TouchLink, where you can, well, if you don't know what that is, that's the Extron version of Crestron. You can look it up on Google. But basically the idea is you will be able to add in your device. And then there will be property fields: power on, power off, volume up, volume down, mute, pole volume, pole power, select input. And this is all based on what type of device you've selected. Then you consult the manual for that device, get the commands for it, and put them in the commands field for that command type. And then after that, you've got your device. And then you can stick it in, use it, just like any of the devices that I build into the database, and I will continue to add them. You can put requests in, and I will do it. And eventually, this is going to also control more professional things, like Polycom gear, VTCs, Tandberg, Cisco now, VTCs, Biamp, sound structure, Interacts. I can even make it control old Vortexes and Zaps. Jupiter video wall controllers, Extron multi-graphic processors. I will make this just like a Crestron and AMX system, with the limitation of you only be able to use Ethernet enabled devices. But, and I will get into this later, there's a Moxa box that can do IP to serial, so you can get around that, and relatively inexpensive. So I think gone are the days that you will have to spend thousands of dollars on a touch panel, thousands of dollars on a controller, and thousands of dollars on the program and interface to operate the system, and have to wait months to get your AV system up and running. Those days are over. This is today. So it's $1. You can help support me and get this app developed, and just enjoy. Alright, thank you guys very much. One last thing, forgot to mention it. If you're in the integrated activity and you decide you want to go back to the remote because, you know, maybe your wife doesn't want to use the fancy setup or whatever, you can just do disable integration mode and you'll flip right back to where you were. And if you're in integration mode, you can still get to the settings to add devices that way without having to back out. So you can use this in basically the easy mode or full custom mode.